Yeah, thank you. So I was working, my name is Stefan, I'm going to present it myself a little bit later, but we started a project called Drones, we call it in Sweden UAS, Unmanned Aerial Systems, and we started a project in Swedish Civil Contingency Agency in 2019. And the first part of my presentation is from the beginning, where we made a visit to United States and California, who is using a lot of drones implemented in law enforcement and also in fire rescue services, just to gather information of the surrounding world, what's happening and how are they implemented. And we did it together with the law enforcement and the Swedish National Police, who has implemented UAS since 2018, national level. I think there are over 300 flight systems and 400 pilots altogether in the Swedish National Police. So they were the most experienced actor in Sweden. So we thought that if we're going to help the fire rescue services, we connect with the police. And I go on with my presentation. Hopefully you see me here. My name is Stefan, and I'm a former retired fire captain for the fire rescue services and also an incident commander in the south of Sweden. I also have worked as a teacher in our school in the south of Sweden called Revinge for 5 years, and I educated incident commanders in the fire rescue services. And my first connection with drones was actually in 2009, where I was incident commanding at the traffic accident in Karlshamn in the south of Sweden. And there comes a drones in the air taking picture of the accident. And I was thinking, oh, what's happening now? I'm going to secure even the airspace in the area. And the next day I saw a picture actually from the incident from the air, not taken by any offense of the involved. But that was the start of thinking maybe this could be a help for the fire rescue services. So it goes back to 2009, the first time when I started with this. What did we do? Yes, I'm going to show a clip, and I'm also going to see if you see something. Maybe it's a little bit hacky, but this is a movie we did together with the law enforcement to show what are we going to achieve with this situation awareness. We're talking about mapping for analyzing in geometry and working with the geometry information systems, and also for development projects that was ongoing in the police, and researchers and development projects altogether have benefits of these sensors from the air. So we made a short clip, a movie, to just have a wake-up call for all these benefits in 2018. So this is an old movie. We have better sensors now, but I think it was when the first flight system from DJI, the Matrix model, was coming with good zoom cameras and also good heat cameras. So we're just going to tease and see what are the benefits for the Swedish law enforcement to gather information. If there are crimes, how can we connect crimes when they are going to establish a doom for them? So all this evidence is used in Swedish police to get this. It happens that you can clearly see the eyes of the people, and not the eyes, the heads, and also you can recognize them. So that was a very good tool for the Swedish police. And also, of course, thermal cameras that was very good in finding things. So this is just taken from an operation. So, well, I'm not going to show more movies, so I'm going on talk a little bit more what we did. And also Sweden, a short of Sweden. We are more or less 10 million people now. And we have a little different type of what you call, how do we collaborate with the crisis management system. But we are indicated in the fire services that are called professional, about 5,000 professional firefighters, and we are what we call short-time, part-time firefighters, retained. And we also have volunteers, but this retained, they have another supervising job, and they go to alarm when they have a beeper on. So about 15,000 firefighters totally then. The police, there are 20,000, and we also have the emergency medical, but the emergency medical doesn't have any own drone operations, but they are willing to get the sensor data from the drones. So this is all together working for what you call the blue light, United Blue Light. Well, the public sector, maybe you already know this, but I thought I will talk a little about it. We have a government, we have the county administration boards, 21 regional things in Sweden, and we have all these municipalities that are on local level. And that's a problem, because if you think that all these municipalities local level should have a permission for flying, that's over 290 permissions that has to go into the Minister of Transportation Board. So that's a little bit what we call an issue for us. So we, on Civil Contingency Agency, we actually see that we're helping all these 290 to have one of the same kind of thing when they're seeking for permission. So that was one of the goals for this project in the beginning. Of course, we work in a geographical responsibility. We had the locals, as I told you, we had the regional and the national level. And these are working together in what we call in Sweden in collaboration. And sometimes this is very good, and sometimes my personal opinion is not so good, because sometimes someone has to be in command. And that's a problem, because if you see further back, Sweden has not been in war, we have not had so many crises, so we are getting better, but we have not a long history of making decision on this bigger accident or crisis. Personal opinion. Okay, so this is how it seems in Sweden with all these municipalities and all these fire rescue services, and we also see that we are spread out in the urban areas. And if we go back to what these drones can support us, sometimes it's very important in the urban areas, sometimes it's very important when we have long distance between accidents and where we have the incidents commanders or the fire rescue services or law enforcement going out. So that's two problems and also two things to handle. The rescue services is, as I told, is one of the municipalities' responsibility, but it's also one of the nation's responsibility. So the police handling the mountain rescue, the air rescue is the Swedish Civil Aviation Administration, and we have the maritime rescue is the Swedish Maritime Administration, and search for missing persons is the police. But if it's around an area in between the sea and the land, also the fire rescue service could help police with searching for missing persons. So we identified some common areas where it's very important to collaborate on these scenes. So that was also our goal. If we collaborate in these areas, we could achieve better effect on the incident. And also what Swedish civil contingency agencies do is supervising supports. We make guidelines, we educate, train, and make exercises. We also a coordination and support all the time, and a little of our operations, of our things to do is in an operational level. So it's we have different what you call different goals to achieve with the Swedish Civil Contingency Agency. A little about Swedish police. There are local police districts, and we have 20 police districts and regional police districts. We have one national operation departments and also forensics, where it's to establish when a crime has seen, to make it important to clear it out, what has happened, what's going on, what has gone on, and how can we achieve some kind of what if establish the doom for the scene. And there we work together with the fire rescue service, because we have to investigate an accident after an accident has happened. So there is also a collaboration between police and fire rescue services. There are pretty much employees, but as you know, in Sweden, there are a lot of things going on with crimes and gangs and all that. So they have a lot of things to do. But we see that drones is an important tool in the law enforcement area. Here's a short clip from the training field in south of Sweden. Actually, is in 2018. We see an incident commander coming out, and in 2016 we're starting to use drones as a tool to show the incident commanders that we can achieve from air. So we started in 2016, and in 2018 we have on the final exercise for the examination, we did like that it's actually me going out as a drone pilot. I establish the drone and I tell the incident commander what he or she can see on the screen, and also we have what you call an incident established inside, both inside and outside, and we broadcast it live for them to see what happened, and also to support the incident commander from distance. So sorry for this old video, but it's the main thing to show what we has done in Sweden so far. About 50% of the fire services in Sweden have some kind of operational US skills, so 50%. So since 2018, it's gone from 25 to 50%. That's pretty good. Going on, the time goes on. What are the future challenges when we went up to the United States? Well, there were three major challenges back in the 2018, because in Sweden we have something called Camera Surveillance Act, and it's based on the data security law when we have the GDPR, and also a special needs for that the integrity of the people. So there was a doom in 2018 that met the regulation that drones are into the Camera Surveillance Act. And also, I think half year later, the quickest law entering in Sweden, it was gone away from the drones, but the authorities was still on the Camera Surveillance Act. So, of course, there are what you call when there are I don't know the words for it, but there are exceptions for authorities. So police, fire rescue services, if there are an incident, there are exceptions for the camera surveillance. But it was a problem for us. We also identified the civil airspace regulations, and back then the UTM was not so far away. It was a little bit away, but it was not so far away. So we thought about the airspace regulations is both a problem and also a challenge for us, because the culture from the unmanned and the culture from the manned aircrafts are collusion. So it both the human aspect and also the regulations aspect of this, what was identified in 2018. And also in the beginning, the time in air, because most of the systems were up in the air for maybe 20 minutes, so maybe 25 at the most. And we thought the multi-rotor, not the other ones type called well, you know, the fast when you have the wings instead of the multi-rotor system. So the time in air was a little bit of a challenge in the beginning. So these three what we identified in the beginning of the project. Yes, and the solution, the way forward, we identified is the law only applies to authorities and municipalities, but there are exceptions, and the exceptions, they work very good. We identified exceptions, and they worked very good for this type of incidents at the beginning, because we thought that drones in the beginning was to make an effect on the insert. But now we know more. It's more of safety of the personnel. It's used for after an inserts to collect evidence. It is in a different, what you call, before, during, and after incidents. But the exceptions only works under beneath the insert. So that's still a challenge. We talked about the use space and the UTM. By back then, we talked about the technical coordination between all aircraft to detect and avoid collision, and also worked a little bit with artificial intelligence to help up this kind of system so that the human can have a technical control over the situations more than the human have to be coordination all the time, because in the future we saw that was more of an autonomy, and then it was a manual thing that you handle in these drones. And of course we talked about better batteries and other propulsion systems. It was back in then. Well, lessons learned then. Well, accept influence by working together with example is joint education. So the police and the fire rescue services, they collaborate together with a joint education of drone pilots. And the drone pilots was task was the flight safety was rule number one. Never hesitate to reach the flight safety for the benefits of the insats commanders, the needs of the insats. We thought that should be more standardized methods how to use them, and when they establish an US function, what can we provide the incident commanding with? What should they do? Some kind of standards methods. Maybe when they establish the drone, they take a 360 picture and they map the area, and then they maybe did a live feed or something like that. So we know that they do the same thing. If there's no need for the incident commander at the real time, maybe they do this when they establish. And also influence legislators to change regulation, because we have another regulation in Sweden called Protection of Geographic Information from the Air. So there's a big issue for us, because as an authority, you can't send a live feed to another authority. It has to go through another authority to see if there's not something that have to be protected from air. So it could maybe you're thinking, oh, how does it work? Well, it's because of a law that came in 2016 that you have to protect photos taken from air. So that's a lesson learned for us to change this regulation. There are exceptions also, but the exceptions is that if an authority like police take pictures on the incident or maybe in the inserts, they can share with the fire rescue service in real time. But after that, they have to fill a report and send in all the live feed, all pictures to another authority to see if there is anything of high risk before they can publish it. Because we have to, if someone call in Sweden, we have to publish everything that they call us that are not by securitas. And lessons learned also, number 3 is the statistics. We have to have lessons learned from incidents. How did I use the UAV, and what needs were there for incidents, and what were the lessons learned, and how can we share this with others on a national level? So that was also a thing that we think is very important. And also statistics for the flight time. Maybe there's a problem with some kind of flight system and we can share with others so they don't have to have the same mistake as other actors. Yeah, that was back in the den. In 2018, I'm going over for what did we come up to in the end of this project, US 2.0. It was ended in February this year. Well, we made a new guidance for fire rescue services, because fire rescue service, police, law enforcement, the military defense, coast guard, maritime, they have different, they are permission are on the national level of flight regulations, not on the EASA regulations. So we made the guidelines just for this, how to seek, how to establish an organization, and it's over 100 pages and it's not on English, sorry for that, it's only on Swedish, but it was a help for them to establish an organization. Either you want to have a small system, bigger system, what you're achieving with that, we made the guidelines. We also made what we call low-hanging fruit. If you have a UAS team coming out, you have one who's handling the drone, one who's handling the safety, and also can be a visual observer, can help the incident commander to do what do we see, what can we do. So it's a link between the one handling the drone. So the one handling drone can always concentrate on the safety, and the other people can help the incident commander on picture number 2 to what it is he or she going to see and what are we going to achieve with the drone. And we made a little trip to Denmark, and we see that Denmark already have this kind of education for incident commanders, and also not how to fly drones, or more of lesson of how to use the benefit of the sensor. We also did a material with a guide called Mapping for Situation Awareness, and also for gathering data that we could further analyze for situation awareness. So all together with the police and law enforcement and the fire rescue services, we made a guide and presented for a just particular flight system. So, and we also use it in combination with something called Drone2Map, provided by Esri. Both MSP and law enforcement have the same system, so it was progress there. And we could share data and put situation awareness on the map, and also provide the incident commander with a situation awareness of the specific accident. So that's what we're working on. The third part of the project was to see if there's going to be needs for a natural reinforcement measure. And now we're talking forest fires, other type of bigger accidents and crises. Today we have some kind of on a national level, we have a forest fire, but we don't have anything regarding drones on a national level. We are regarding on police, fire rescue services, and these smaller systems. But here was looking into the future and some kind of innovation project. You can see it as a Swedish inventor making a bigger, super big multi-rotor copter. So that in the future we're going to put out forest fires with unmanned systems. The payload is 1,500 kilograms, so it's a pretty high payload on this system. And the innovation is that it's a propulsion system that it's very low friction, so you can fly it with an in this prototype. I think he has an Yamaha Hayabusa motor on, but we want to have a jet motor instead. So we think into what's in the future. So in the future is it's like you presented later further before, that we could combine this manned and the unmanned, maybe when the manned flight not can fly when it's foggy or it's dark, the unmanned can fly with IR and RE to support the incident and have a better effect of the fire. So that's what we're looking into in the support. And the project ended in 2020, but the report came in February this year. And if anyone wants to know more about this, please don't hesitate to contact me as well. Yes, my major thing is that this type of question that we talked about further on the program and what I was talked about, it's I can see myself into that we have about the same issues and also at working together for drones and US is a benefit of public safety and has been for law enforcement and crisis management in Sweden. And that's my final. So thank you for your attention from me.